Welcome to a place where hearts unwind, infinite threads that gently bind, love and compassion in every line. Together we rise through space and time.
Welcome back to Infinite Threads. I'm your host, Bob, and this is episode 92. If you've made it this far, I want to start with this. You are already doing something brave. In episode 91, we talked about what it means to lie to ourselves, to believe something because it's comforting, not because it's true, and how we all do it, especially when fear is louder than love. But once you recognize that you've been blind, once you feel that crack of light, what comes next? How do you begin to see clearly again? How do you stay open without collapsing? And how do you begin to live differently from a place of love and emotional growth? That's what we're exploring today. Step 1. You slow down before you react. The first thing that happens after the blinders fall is usually panic. You want to fix it, correct it, defend yourself, apologize to the world, or run from what you just realized. But real clarity doesn't come from a rush to fix. It comes from pausing. If you want to begin seeing with new eyes, start by giving your emotions time to land. When your identity has been tied to a belief, especially in religion or politics, unraveling that story feels like death. But it's not. It's rebirth. So breathe. Name the feelings. Let yourself grieve if you need to. You are not starting over. You are waking up. Step 2. You don't replace the old blinder with a new one. Here's a trap many fall into. We reject one rigid belief system and immediately cling to another. We say, well, that wasn't true, but this definitely is. And just like that, the blindfold changes color, but not function. Here's the truth. You don't need a new certainty. You need new sight. This is where the healing presence of love comes in, guys. Love doesn't rush to fill in the blanks. Love lets the space remain open long enough for truth to emerge, not be forced. This kind of clarity grows slowly like a sunrise. You let your eyes adjust, and you begin to see not just facts, but people. You begin to see yourself. Guys, it really is amazing, and it really does work. You start seeing things totally differently whenever you give love the wheel, whenever you hand it over. Step 3, you practice living without needing to be right. This is where many people stall, including myself. So difficult. When you've based your worth on being correct, letting go of certainty can feel like a loss of self, but it's actually the beginning of emotional growth. Instead of asking, "Am I right?" try asking, "Am I listening? Am I growing?" Am I loving? Am I creating space for others to be human? These questions are very, very good, guys. This is the thread of compassion. It doesn't demand agreement. It seeks understanding. And when that becomes your posture, you don't need to be right. You need to be real. You need to be present. And you need to be loving even when the room is full of tension. These are decisions. We've talked about this before. These are decisions you make. You can do it. You can do anything that you decide to do. Step 4, you let love inform your direction. Once you've opened your eyes, the next step is living from what you now see. That doesn't mean throwing everything away. It means asking new questions like, what would unconditional love say here? Does this belief create more connections or more separation? Is this action rooted in fear or in freedom? What am I protecting and why? The deeper you go, the clearer it becomes. You should ask these questions all the time, in everything you do, in everything you believe. Question. Love doesn't blind us, it reveals. And once love becomes your compass, clarity becomes less about control and more about compassion. You stop needing the world to align with your views. You begin showing up as a healing presence instead. And wouldn't that be amazing? Can you find any fault in that? Step 5, you rebuild relationships with truth at the center. Now that you've begun to see, what do you do with the relationships built during your blindness? You don't have to burn bridges. Remember, we love everybody. They are part of us, always. You also don't have to lie to belong. What you can do is this: speak truth with gentleness. Stay rooted in dignity. Make room for discomfort. Keep love at the center of your conversations. You don't have to harp on somebody to change. It wouldn't have worked with you, as it won't work with them. You have to help them find love first. Love has to be the center. That is how it works. So you don't try to make people change how they're doing things. They're not going to see it. Unless they're looking through the lens of love, they will not see things correctly. Sometimes the most powerful human connection happens after you shift. When people see you choosing kindness over certainty. When they feel you choosing curiosity over pride. When they hear you say, I don't have all the answers, but I'm committed to love. That is the thread that weaves us back together. You know, sight is a daily practice. Seeing clearly isn't a one-time awakening. It's a daily decision to remain open, a decision to remain honest, a decision to humble humble enough to change. And here's the gift. When you begin to see again, not through the lens of ego, but through the lens of love, you don't just change how you think, you change how you live. You soften, you listen, you become light to others who are still stumbling in the dark. You become the very presence you once needed. And that, my friends, is the kind of clarity that changes the world. Thank you guys for walking deeper with me today. Seeing clearly isn't easy, but it's worth it. And you are not alone. And trust me, it does get easier and easier until it's second nature. You are part of something bigger. You are held by a thread of compassion that doesn't fray. And you are being led not by fear, but by love. Until next time, stay open, stay grounded, and keep seeing with the eyes of your heart. I love you all very, very, very much. And you know what I need you to do. Go out and pass that on. Later, Gators. Bye-bye.